12 games to go. 8 of them are on home soil. If they can repeat their win against Bradford in Edinburgh last month, they'll be just 5 points behind the Bulls, 4 points off the playoff places with a game in hand. Are the playoffs beckoning the new franchise here in North Wales? Well, the supporters who have taken them to their hearts in this part of the world certainly hope so. And we'll just have to wait and see. But as I say, they've got 8 of the last 12 at home, Steve. Well, that's a massive boost for them.
Certainly is, and their coach Brian Noble fully aware that home advantage can give them a lift. They certainly need it. You've already mentioned the fact that they've been shipping in tries for fun, but it's nothing that this Crusader outfit will be laughing about it. But Bradford Bulls, of course, they got a hammer in themselves. So it's a matter of who really wants this game, who wants to take control of it, grab it by the scruff of the neck. And it's going to be interesting to see who takes charge in the opening 10-15 minutes.
Well, we're about to get underway here. Referee Phil Bentham blows the whistle. Paul Sykes with the left foot gets us underway. It's been raining pretty consistently for the last hour or so before the match started. But the clouds have lifted. It is dry now, but it's bound to be greasy underfoot. And we'll wait to see how the two sides manage to cope with the conditions. Of course, this game here will bring back memories of a very significant match in the history of the Crusaders last year. 17th of May, they went to Odsal as the Celtic Crusaders, and they beat the Bradford Bulls 30 points to 24. It was their first ever Super League win. They have come on a bundle since then, and they're here in Wrexham now and making a little bit of a mark on the Engage Super League. This is Dave Halley, their Welsh international fullback for Bradford. And there is Ricky Tramaci. He thought he was going to be playing in this game, but as you heard Bill say, he has pulled up in the warm-up, and he has to watch from the side like the rest of us. It'll be frustrating for him. Rocky Tramaci, he missed Quins last week, as Bill rightly says. There's the final score from Wakefield. Wigan have won 48-6, so they stay top of the table, and they are now again 4 points clear of the rest of the field. I must say, Steve-O, as we look into our crystal ball, you look ahead to that 3D match that we've got coming up on Sky Sports at the DW Stadium in July, Wigan against Warrington. What a cracker that's going to be.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Wigan, they are really laying down the gauntlet, aren't they? They're playing some wonderful rugby league football. And am I right in saying that Price got over for the hat-trick?
I believe so, yes. Carl Price got over for a hat-trick. He has come back, hasn't he, from the dead for the Wigan Warriors in 2010. He probably benefited the fact that Amos Roberts has been missing for quite some time, but boy, he's a giant on the wing, isn't he, Carl Price? Anyway, that's what's happened at Wakefield. We're watching what's happening here at Wrexham. First 2 minutes have gone, and here is Gareth Thomas.
Bit nervous times, but for the coaches, Brian Noble, Steve McNamara, due to the fact that have they got their defensive system sorted out? No clean break as yet.
A little note in the book for the Crusaders coach, and that is Hanbury, and he spreads it wide to Lupton, goes further wide. This is a great run from Huraki, and a great pass, and Thomas will go in for the Crusaders. First on this ground for Gareth Thomas. 12th consecutive appearance since his high-profile signing, and Gareth Thomas apparently took advice from David Bishop, the former Hulkingston Rovers star, about making the switch from rugby union to rugby league, and they certainly cut the Bradford Bulls open down that right-hand side, and Gareth Thomas over, and as I say, his first try on home soil here.
Quick hands out wide as well, and you can see how the Bradford defence are just hanging off. It was a beautiful offload late by Peter Lupton that set it all away, and you just drew the fullback David Halley. And the former Welsh Rugby Union superstar, Gareth Thomas, has set the stadium alight. Beautiful stuff, wasn't it? Rocky Weller, and then he gets it into the corner. That's just what the winger expected. Get the overlap, and they have made the Bulls pay.
Well, he's loving every minute of his new life in rugby league as Gareth Thomas. Did it all in rugby union, 35 years of age, made the switch. That's his second try in the Crusaders' colours. And here is another veteran, 34-year-old former Queensland State of Origin star, Clinton Shivkovsky. to come up with the, hopefully for him, the first successful kick of the evening, and he's managed that. First Super League try for him, and 3 goals at Quins last week. That's 4 goals now in the season for Clinton Shipskovsky, and the Crusaders have an early lead, 6-0.
Well, teams that play against them know that the centres can be very dangerous out wide, sorry, I should say, the second rows. Wella Haraki is one option on the right-hand side. Jason Chan will be on the left, and they make that look relatively easy here. A happy and a positive start for Gareth Thomas and his Welsh teammates.
Yes, tremendous start for the Crusaders. And Bradford, well, if they have come here with any lethargy, it should now be shaken from them. That's Chris Nero with the tackling on Mark Bryant. Ooh, that's a big hit as well by Nick Scruton. Scruton was released by Steve McNamara from the England camp. Didn't make his debut for England yesterday, but he's here in the Super League. That's a big bonus actually for Bradford. He comes into this game absolutely 100% fit and nice and fresh as well.
You talk about a bonus, Eddie. You talk about lifting your spirits, and that would certainly have lifted the home side. Ooh, took that on a volley there, bouncing.
Yes, Ricky Sharif.
Took a huge gamble.
Went right into his face almost, didn't he? He did well to hang on to that. That was Halley, and this now is one of the youngsters, Wardle, substitute on his Super League debut against Huddersfield last week. It wouldn't have been a very happy debut.
Want to have a look, Eddie, when Bradford have the ball up nearer to the Crusaders line. How many plays are going to put down this left-hand side at Gareth Thomas? Crusaders right, Bradford's left. A lot of teams have had success in the last few weeks going down there. Let's see if Tony Martin can stiffen up that side.
That's Scruton again, driving the ball in on the last tackle. There has to be a kick coming in here. Carney will angle the cricket across the face of play to Gareth Thomas. And well, Gareth Thomas is on the way.
Certainly is. Now, we fully expected that. And that's a high shot.
No, it's stolen. The ball's stolen
away. Sorry, I thought it was a high shot there. I'm just saying that they know that they're going to apply the pressure to #1 Gareth Thomas out on the wing, but that was not the best kick there by Brett Carney. No doubt about the steal. 2 in attendance. Yep.
You never know, Steve. Well, that might have been a ploy by Brian Noble. Brian Carney said that a lot of teams are attacking that side. They might say, well, look, give it to Gareth Thomas and see if he can work the ball back up the other end. He nearly did then, by the way.
Well, the problem is, though, that you've got to give it height. You don't keep the ball down to him. It was quite easy for him to accept that football. Put it in the air. It's going to be a bit dodgy.
It's not all that long ago since he caused them trouble up in Murrayfield returning the ball, so they should know that Gareth Thomas has the ability, especially to go the distance as well.
Indeed so. Remember, he made almost an 80-metre break, didn't he? And it was his break that produced one of the tries for Crusaders that day. They're on the attack here again. Martin, big boost for the Crusaders that Tony Martin, this nomadic man, has come into the side here today.
Well, the combination already, Peter Lupton, Rhys Hanbury is really putting pressure on this Bradford defence.
And here is Hanbury, and there's the kick to the corner, looking for Youngquest. Youngquest knocks it down, and it was off the chest of Carney. He took it over the line, but I think it went forward.
Yeah,
it went forward here, did.
Yeah, deliberate forward, a deliberate knock-on. So even though Carney did take it over the in-goal line, the official, Phil Bentham, has got it absolutely spot on.
Solid defence from Crusaders. Glenn Hall is operating today as a prop forward. He's been ever present this year, but this is his first start at prop in Super League with the Bulls. Now it's Stuart Reardon.
Brian's already made reference to the last time these sides met. It was early in May, and Bradford lost that game, and probably more alarmingly, lost embarrassingly so when you measured the enthusiasm of the two teams. Now, I would say we've only been playing 8 minutes, but at the moment the Crusaders seem up for this more than the Bradford players.
Deep kick from Paul Sykes. Finds Clinton Shivkovsky. The chase wasn't bad. Warrensey leading the way with Scruton.
Well, they got there in numbers, and Steve McNamara will be at least happy with that. Not too impressed with the way that they cut them out wide on that right-hand side.
This is classic Brian Noble coaching. He wants his backs to get in, do a lot of work early on and speed the game up. You'll see this throughout the game.
There'll be a penalty, messing around. becoming their own worst enemy, really. They've got to sort themselves out. They got hammered last week, and they've just got to get out of the way.
That's a tremendous kick deep as well. And a chance here for the Crusaders to start 10 metres away from the line. It's a drive in now by Jason Chan. Lincoln Withers is the dummy half for the Crusaders. They come this way to Vince Mellors, their top try scorer. And it takes 3 to halt Vince Mellors. But he gets the penalty nonetheless. Steve Menz is asking Phil Bentham for some clarification on the rule. He's the captain today.
Well, they look fired up for the down of the home side, the Crusaders. They do a big drive here.
This is Jason Chan again. A consistent member of the squad in the last 2 seasons, Jason Chan, the Papua New Guinea international. Here is Hanbury. He spreads it across the face of play. That's Huraki. Did himself quite a bit of good last week, actually, in the awful defeat against the Quins, Huraki. Oh, it's a nice little step as well. Now then, what can Crusaders do here? He's spinning his way to the line. It is
held up.
Shivskovsky.
Desperation there by the Bulls, and they definitely need it. They really are on fire to the Crusaders, applying that pressure time and time again. Shivskovsky going very, very close. It was a beautiful stepping run before that by Peter Lupton. The Bradford defence is all at sea. That's a shocker.
Not the best pass. Hanbury. Here's Mellors again. And he goes down on the last tackle. Again, they are 10 metres away from the line. Hanbury dabs the kick in. Difficult one, that, for Halley to take, but he did it well. He coped with that well, but then he was forced back over the line. It's a goal line dropout. Tremendous Crusaders defence.
And again, applying the pressure. They've got there in numbers.
And the referee is calling out, as we watch here, he's calling out Steve Menzies.
Challenged on every single decision. The guy's clearly not tackled, so therefore we can carry him into the goal. You've got to speak to him. Yeah, go away, Paul.
Well, the ball carrying arm does not hit the deck, so therefore it's continued. It's absolutely spot on, is Phil Bentham. And it's just sheer frustration from the experienced skipper, Steve Menzies, because he knows that the Bradford Bulls at the moment, they're in a huge hole.
There is another problem, Eddie, because they're questioning every decision, and when you're doing that in the first 10 minutes of a match, you do, I think, give out an indication that you're under pressure and not handling the situation well. They've got a chance here now with 5 more tackles to show how enthusiastic they are and how willing they're prepared to work in winning this match.
Not quite so sure it was Steve Menzies. He was called out by the referee because he's the captain and they're told to sort it out. The referee did say, I'm not having every decision I make being questioned by your players. So Bradford have been told. Here is Hanbury. That's a good short ball to Jason Chan.
Who's getting through a lot of work as a second rower, Chan. It's a good build-up here. Ryan Noble really has them working hard.
Scruton and Hall combining to bring the runner down. That was Ryan O'Hara. There's Lupton. Dabs the kick through. Oh, it finds its way. And back it comes to Lincoln Withers. And they keep it going here. Lupton, and it's helped on to Chan. They're in again. Vince Mellors. Mellors gets over. It's a different start than we saw last week, isn't it? At Harlequins. Crusaders had all the ball in the opening 10 or 12 minutes down in London. And they couldn't get across the line. But they've got across the line twice here. It's a wonderful start for Brian Noble's men. And a wonderful start for a team that's conceded no less than 150 points in their last 3 Super League matches.
Well, that hole is getting deeper and deeper for the Bradford Bulls. They went for the power play and then put the kick away and said, look, it's bounced our way here. Look at Bradford's defence. They're hanging around. They've come out of it, came out of the line. It was always going to be easy for Vince Mellors to add the second try of the game. They're running riot. Nice little ricochet there. Lupton put the kick through. And look how they had the numbers there. They come out of their line. There was nothing that they could do about that by Ricky Sharif. And the big centre has sent this crowd going crackers yet again. What a start!
Well, 8th try in this season for Vince Mellors, former junior Kiwi international. And here is Clinton Shifkovsky again to try and add the extras. This for a 12-0 lead. 12-0 it is. And Bradford have got some work to do in defence.
Well, they need to find a level of motivation that's going to help them compete with their opponents at the moment. Even when the skill for the Crusaders lets them down, as it did with that kick, they're the first of all. Here's again where they're starting to question the decisions with the referee. Dave Halley is criticising him, not happy with that situation. Eventually, the referee says, listen, I'm not being questioned continually for this game. The question mark now hangs over Bradford and their ability to work their way back into the match, and that starts with some very strong and vigorous defence.
You talk about enthusiasm, Phil. What about Mark Bryant's effort there? Loose ball, last tackle, scooped down, and a wonderful pass almost off the ground to set up that try. Credit to the prop.
14 minutes gone then. Crusaders ahead by 12 points to 0.
And it's a great boost for them, and Brian Noble realises it, because what's going through the minds of these Bradford players will be very concerning for his coach Steve McNamara. And it's going to take something very special. They've got to regroup, they've got to get someone out there. They've got the experience in Menzies. He's got to try to get into their minds that this game is not over yet. But look at that kick and chase, that's superb.
Brian, is that a lack of confidence between the winger and the fullback when neither's prepared to catch it on the full like that?
Well, yeah, it might have put themselves out of position. It would have made an awful big difference for Bradford if they did catch it on the full. Chews up a lot of time when the ball is allowed to bounce, and as you say, it gave that wonderful chase time to come up, and they're forcing Bradford to finish their sets deep inside their own half, which makes an attacking kick very difficult, and you're usually relying on a defensive kick, which is a lot easier to field.
Well, we're talking that we want to see a bit more vigorous defence from the Bradford Bulls, but we're seeing some tremendous defence here for the Crusaders. Warrensey gets the ball away. That's a mistake by Dave Halley. Oh, he got away with that. The referee said it went backwards. Lucky to get away with that. Sykes will have to put boot to ball. It's a great kick, this. It's a tremendous kick. But Shifkovsky, he positioned himself very well indeed.
Took it well going backwards, not easy.
And Sykes, the man leading the chase, putting everybody on side. Here's Gareth Thomas, can't get past Menzies.
It's important now that the Bulls try to ensure that the Crusaders don't get deep into their own territory, because the kicking game so far, both from Hanbury and Lupton, has been quite good.
4 tackles gone, says referee Phil Bentham. Hanbury, good on his feet. Just running down a blind alley momentarily, so that's the last tackle. Signalled by the referee with the hand in the air, so expect the kick here. There it is from Lupton. Behind Stuart Reardon again.
And again, a great chase. That was wonderful. Wonderful. Well, look a different side, don't they, from what we witnessed last week in London.
Bradford can't get out of their own half at the moment, apart from the kicks.
And it just shows you that you get eager. You really work as a unit.
Well, I'm not saying that Billy Sledge is the be-all and end-all of rugby league players, but when the kicks go to him, he works as hard as he possibly can to get there and take it on the full. He'll sprint at full pace. Bradford back three haven't had that same desire. The big swinging while here now to Reardon.
That's a great ball from Halley. Reardon tries to cut inside, but Martin is there, and with help from Thomas, they get him over the line.
Well, that's the first real touch of class that we've seen from Bradford. It was a beautiful long ball up, but that he really doesn't have the speed there. And that Martin just made sure that he held him up, finished off with the assistance of Gareth Thomas.
Sorry, Steve, to interrupt, but is that not dragging to touch? Does somebody clear this up? I'm not sure about this rule. I mean, Tony Martin's dragging him out. That's a penalty.
Well, it's obviously suggested that it was Thomas that that's put him over rather. I'm with you. Yeah. It's confusing. It's very difficult for the officials.
This is Hanbury. Lestrange was in quickly, along with Nick Scruton. Now another good drive forward. That's good defence. Menz is the man who is organising the defence. It was on Jason Chan. Menzies again with Warrensey. Working hard is Steve Menzies. Withers. Back he comes to Lupton. He was nearly through the gap. He is through the gap.
It's a beautiful dummy, just got his shoulder in time. And again, Crusaders controlling this game.
Great offload. Hanbury, he's got support from Haraki. Haraki under the post. Well, they're running red hot. Oh, the Crusaders made the first 19-0 against Bradford at Murrayfield. Their 5th win of the campaign. They haven't added to that victory since, but they're on course to add to it here as they come home to Wrexham. They've hardly played here this year, such has been the vagaries of the fixture system, but they're making hay while the sun shines at the racecourse right now.
Beautiful offload by Mark Bryant as well, and the good support play by Haraki. They really are up for this, and they realise that Bradford's defence is all over the place. Just a neat little step, fully deserved. You mentioned the fact that they are just controlling this game, the home outfit. And you look through this Bradford Bulls side, so many stars, and they ain't firing.
Shipkowski adds his 3rd successful conversion. The Crusaders lead by 18 points to 0. The tries from Thomas, Mellors and Haraki, and Bradford can't get out of their own half. Well, he had a field day in the sunshine at Lee yesterday, Steve McNamara as England coach, but he now knows what Bobby Goulding must have felt like 24 hours ago.
You know, I'm addicted to the short kick-off, Eddie, but I think I'd go for it here, because the longer this game goes on with Crusaders in possession, as I suspect they'll get here from the kick-off, the harder or more impossible it will become for Bradford to come back.
They're going
They
in
need
a race of
possession of this half of the field. They need the ball.
Point a minute they're scoring at the moment, 18-0 in 18 minutes. We've now hit the quarter mark of the match, halfway through the first half. What's the referee given here?
Is it a knock-on? Yeah,
Yes,
just a slight one. Well, that is great relief for the Bulls. This will be the first real opportunity they've had. Yeah, just lost control of it. Well spotted by Phil Bentham. But they really need to come up with something extremely special and very, very quickly.
That penalty, rather that knock-on and the scrum feed here is like manna from heaven for Bradford, isn't it?
Certainly,
It is, and let's see what they do with it. Let's see what they can do in this set. They haven't had a good ball, or ball in a good position, I should say.
It's Wardle.
Hold, go.
And he'll play to Heath Lestrange. Here is Nick Scruton. Scruton will drive it in. There was a big 2-page feature on Nick Scruton in yesterday's international programme. I felt terribly sorry for him because he wasn't involved in the match, as it turned out. But this is Glenn Hall now.
Goal line, 3.
First time really that Bradford have threatened the Crusaders line. Paul Sykes, short ball, dealt with though. Good tackling it was by Peter Lupton on Elliot Whitehead. Referee holding his patience. Lestrange once again.
5.
Last tackle here, and just a couple of metres away from the line. And Whitehead, well, he tried to outmuscle them, he tried to get over the line. But the tackle was completed this side of the try line, so it's the turnover right on Crusaders' goal line.
I'm not so sure that Steve McNamara would have been happy with that from the big second rower, Elliot Whitehead. You could see out wide they were screaming for it. Paul Sykes was going to be the first receiver, and he was motioning to the fullback Dave Halley to come in, probably coming late on the arc.
Flying tackle on Gareth Thomas by Paul Sykes.
Far too many missed tackles as well from the Bulls. They're just running the show. They're running from dummy half. They're a lot quicker.
Lincoln with the spins out of another missed tackle and another missed tackle. Eventually they get him at the 3rd attempt. It's the last one, just over halfway. But good progress made forward by the Crusaders, considering they started this on their own line. And the kick from Hanbury is straight into the arms of Sharif. Good chase again, though. But Ricky Sharif gets away from the first would-be tackler, who was Adam Peake. Now, Dave Halley.
Good work as well by the prop forward, Mark Bryant, to get eventually to Sharif. Well, they really do look out of sorts. And I've got to give credit, though, to the way that Crusaders, they were pretty woeful, especially in that second half down in London last week. They were missing the tackles. Now it's Bradford's turn to be doing that.
That could have been a flop there. by the prop forward Bryant. Good run from Nick Scruton. Lestrange entangled with the man on the ground, who was Jason Chan.
Well, to be fair,
that is too deep.
That should have been a penalty, because the Crusaders man just did not get out of the way of the play the ball area, and is already pulled one up for that infringement throughout this game, Phil Bentham, and yet just ignored that one.
You know what Bradford have got to do, Steve-O? Next time they get the ball, they've got to speed this game up. They're running one out from dummy half, which is okay if you're going to get a quick play of the ball. But if you let the opposition dominate, you'd end up being very, very slow and difficult. Get a quick play of the ball and let a player as good as Heath Lestrange get out and run from dummy half. He's very, very dangerous when he's allowed to do that.
The pinch hit, Nero's pinched the ball.
Nero's done really well there, because he was standing square. There was nobody, as you see.
Well, he tripped over. He tripped over the big body of Elliot Whitehead. I agree with you, Brian. They've got to do something, but the problem is they've been hit with 3 tries, 18-0. There's no confidence running through their veins, and they're just going down to basics. They won't try anything because they're frightened.
News from the sideline, Bill.
Ignite things now, because Wayne Godwin has just come on the field, and there's one man who'll really liven things up one way or another. There he is now in possession.
First time he touches the ball, and he's bent back almost double by the tackle from Adam Peake. This is Carney.
I think he was running in support there, the Michael Warrency, and he got the ball.
There was good timing there.
He got as big a shock as anybody. Lestrange gives the ball to Carney. Short ball then to Nero.
Did well, Lupton there. Knew that the dummy runner was coming through, and Lupton didn't get sucked in.
Kopjak is out there. Craig Kopjak, a Welsh international 5 times. So on familiar territory, it's Heath Lestrange. Carney attacking the line, finds Halley. Nero will get over for the first Bradford try. And that's what they wanted.
That's that edge, Eddie.
Yes.
That's that right edge, backing off right on the try line. You can't do it. You've got to get up and make a decision. You can back further out the field, not on your try line.
Well, he's in great form, is Chris Nero. 6 tries in his last 5 games, been ever present in Super League this year. Chris Nero, 7 years in the United Kingdom now. He's hoping to come off the overseas quota to receive a new deal at the Bradford Bulls next year. Would get in on residency.
It all came about by this real message, and it was Chris Nero that was very alert.
And the referee there shouting it was Bradford's ball. He shouted 4 times, and that was why the penalty came about.
The first real good movement out wide. David Halley, the fullback, coming in. You'll notice that Brett Carney just holds the ball, and the fullback then offloads. Nero is not going to stop him. Even though it's been a heroic effort by Tony Martin, he's back. He's certainly bolstered the defence out on that right-hand side, but there was nothing they could do about stopping this big fella.
And the Bradford travelling contingent a little happier than they were just a few moments ago. Paul Sykes is the goal kicker. Operating at standoff. He actually has played standoff for the last 12 matches as well.
To be fair, he's been one of their star players. They've been very up and down, as we know, the Bulls this season.
Well, they don't seem to be able to get Carney and Orford on the same field together very long, can they, very often? Here's Sykes. Misses. He's got 1,000 points now, more than 1,000 points in his career, has Paul Sykes. But he doesn't make it another 2 there. But the main thing for Bradford is they're on the board. Yeah,
and we mentioned the fact that they were a little bit frightened, scared of doing anything different, but that was a set pattern move. We've seen it so often. There's a way that the halfback, Brett Carney, looks for David Halley to come into the 3-quarter line. Ooh, he did well to get that.
He did. Craig Kopjak was left all on his own then. It was a peculiar call from Lestrange. I think he thought it was sailing out on the full. Bradford get another relieving penalty here.
You know, Kopjak perhaps was maybe thinking of taking that ball with his foot over the dead-in goal line.
Heath Lestrange did him no favours. He said yours as it came out the sky.
Make no mistake, that is a great take. That is very, very difficult. He's had to lean forward, a big prop. I'm sure he was expecting his catcher to take it for him.
Let's get some more news from downstairs. Bill.
Yeah, I think there's a problem with Gareth Thomas and a bit of an injury worry for the Crusaders at the moment. He's had a couple of visits from the physio, once with a big bag of ice which he put on the inside of his thigh, and he's not moving that convincingly. He had another check while that try was being, the conversion was being attempted by Paul Sykes, I should say. So I think there's a concern about Thomas's fitness.
So many men in the tackle there on Wayne Godwin, couldn't keep hold of the ball. Knock on. Crusaders have the feed at the scrum. This is Martin. Very lush surface here at the racecourse ground. And one or two of the players are having trouble.
Oh, messing around. They're being sucked into it now. Lestrange has just lost his cool. Just a little bit of a dig. I know one man will be hoping that they can get them into the dressing room, and that is named Steve McNamara, because he really has to sort this out. He looks pretty calm, cool and collected, but I think deep inside he's mortified as to what he's been watching in the first 28 minutes.
Big drive in from Frank Winterstein. Got the place in the starting lineup because Okitramaki was ruled out injured in the warm-up. This is good movement though here. That's a good hit by Ricky Sharif on Clinton Shivkovsky.
Wanted Everton, read it well, knew the fullback was coming straight through, but he's injured.
And
problems for Ricky Sharif. He doesn't know where he is. There's been a clash of the heads.
Shivkovsky again. Here's Hanbury. Pops the ball up. Scruton hanging on. The referee.
Touch judge is
something
on.
Going on. The touch judge has come on. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I've got. Craig. That's all right.
It's going to be a penalty to the Crusaders, this.
Would it be a late challenge on Reece Hanbury? It very often happens, doesn't it, ball players?
All right, just got to get the timing.
Watch the man who turns the ball back inside. Keep your eye on him.
Okay.
That's what the penalty's for.
Yes, it is, absolutely, yeah. There didn't seem too much in it.
Well, they're running on confidence. It's a tap.
It's a Nathan Brown penalty, isn't it? Protecting the little ball carriers after they passed it.
Yes, that's right. They get their way, don't they, the coaches in the end? They shout long and hard enough and loud enough and long enough. Lincoln Withers. Lupton pops the ball up again. It's a huge test again of this Bradford defence. Interesting that they didn't take the two that were on offer. It was an easy 2 points. They've backed themselves, the Crusaders. Lupton, great little shimmy one way and then coming back the other.
It's great work, you know, by Peter Lupton. He's controlling things along with his halfback Hanbury.
Now, here's Hanbury, back on the inside. Shivkovsky again, gets the ball away. Jason Chan, back with all the heavy traffic. Two tackles remaining. Withers scheming, looking both ways, going right. Oh, and it was a poor attempt that by Paul Sykes.
All they need to do is just get this ball in the in-goal area.
Lupton just sidestepped him then. There's Hanbury, there's the dab. And Sykes, this time, to the rescue for Bradford.
Yeah, it's had the ricochet. The idea was good, and he just got to it, turned in time, and now the Crusaders have just given them a relieving penalty.
Well, it might be half an hour too late, but the Bulls at last are showing the desperation and commitment to defend that try line they'll need if they want to win the game. They were up in the faces, they were throwing the bodies and making sure that they got to the ball if it went to ground. It's just they've given themselves a big task here now with a 18-point start that they offered to the Crusaders.
Yes, lethargic a bit. Bradford coming out of the dressing rooms. Warwicksley gets to his feet.
Well, it's been good defence as well by the Crusaders. As we've mentioned, it's been all the home side. The Bulls, very rare opportunities in the opposition half. They're over it now, and this is what are going to make it count.
Quick play the balls. Carney. Oh, and he did really well then, did Wardle. He's got support from Halley. Well, they nearly blew that, Bradford, I'll tell you, because Joe Wardle, the 18-year-old, he was running on one side, and I don't think he expected the pass. It came to him, it seemed to flick away from him, and somehow he grabbed it into his body before putting Dave Halley over the line for the try. But it was the quick play of the balls, and there was a couple of Crusaders players down in back play as well. But Bradford are back in this match.
Well, they risked it, didn't they? It was good work by Brett Carney. Back on the inside, and he just got it right, didn't he? It was bouncing all over the place, but Wardle The fingertip control was eventually good. It was a beautiful inside pass, wasn't it? Drew the full back. Dave Halley. He's a key factor, that's for sure.
Halley, the try scorer, Welsh international. Wardle, though, one of a number of outstanding young players that Bradford have got coming through. We've got Elliot Whitehead out there today. We've got Crossley and Danny Addy to come off the bench, and of course Donaldson, who poor old James Donaldson, who's out for the rest of the season after that very late injury he picked up in the cup tie against Warrington. But Bradford are in the hunt now, 18-10 down.
There certainly will be, and Steve McNamara perhaps was looking at the stats and saying, well, that's only about our third opportunity to apply the pressure in the opposition half, and we've come up with 2 tries. So the adrenaline maybe will be pumping a little bit more, as it was a very lethargic start by the visitors.
They sped it up, Steve-O. Michael Warrency got put on his back first tackle of that last set. But the very next play, quick play of the ball, Heath Lestrange up, ran at the retreating defence and got Bradford going forward. That's what you got to do. Speed the play up, get at least one quick play of the ball in the set, and you'll be on the winning or on the front foot.
That was a tremendous kick-off by the Crusaders. They could see that the Bradford players were all camped on their own goal line, and the kick just bounced in the middle of their own half, and it took quite an effort from Heath Lestrange to get to it, and he got a real clattering from the chasers as a result. This is Godwin, isn't it?
There's a lot more shape now to the attack from Bradford, the confidence, and I must say that the inclusion, bringing Wayne Godwin in off the bench, it's a little bit too long, but I don't think we're too bothered about that. They'll be able to set up on that 30-metre line.
Let's get them all back.
He really has sparked it. Bill mentioned it on the sideline that that's the reason why the coach Steve McNamara sent him out there.
That was Jordan James driving the ball in on the first tackle. Didn't think he was playing today, 18th man. And then Tremaci breaking down in the warm-up. Tony Martin, they'll be delighted that he's back in the side. That's a good ball. Here's Mellors. Sharif missed him. Lestrange has missed him. Big strong lad this is Vince Mellors. Gets a great ball away also. Just went without it then, Ben Flowers.
Golden opportunity as well.
It's a knock-on against Bradford, isn't it?
Yeah, Elliot Whitehead, I think it is. No, Kopchak. Kopchak has knocked it deliberately down.
He hit his arm or hit the ball?
Pretty hard to tell. I think you'll find that Phil Bentham has stated that, but look at that offload. He's such a big man, isn't it? Vince Mellors. He's got a neat try.
Hanbury feeds the scrum, and he gives it to Lupton. And Lupton gets it further in field to Shivskovsky, who takes a heavy challenge. Huraki, who scored under the post not long ago and gets a penalty. Penalty here because the defenders were not standing square at the play of the ball. And a lot of whistle from Phil Bentham. That's the 11th penalty, is it? Oh, no, sorry, the 9th penalty. 6 of them have gone the way of the Crusaders. Now, will they take the 2 on offer this time?
Well, when you saw the replay there, stating that the markers weren't square, I'm not so sure that the Crusaders player didn't step up a little bit to his left. Either way, they've got it. And they're paying a little bit of credit to the revival from Bradford. Brian Noble obviously getting the message out and saying, look, we'll take the 2. It could be important late in the game.
So Shivskovsky again. Debut against the Bradford Bulls at Odsal on Easter Monday for Clinton Shivskovsky.
Time off.
Former Queensland State of Origin representative from 2001 to 2006. He won a couple of caps. Talking of the State of Origin, Brian, who is here with us today, will be your host for the State of Origin Game 2 on Sky Sports on Wednesday morning at 10:30. Here's Shivskovsky, the Queenslander, the adopted Welshman, not a New South Welshman, but a Welshman. Crusaders 20, Bradford 10, and he's in great form with the boot. That just settled them down a bit.
Yeah, and that's the reason why Brian Noble got that message out. But a mini revival by the visitors, and I must say they went through a period where they didn't have any shape whatsoever.
Approaching half-time, here's Bill.
Suggested earlier on, Gareth Thomas is off the field, comes off shaking his head. I think it's a groin problem that he's been nursing through the first half, and they've decided at this stage that he'll come off, and Luke Dyer has gone in his place.
There'll be no problem for Luke Dyer because he got 2 tries in that first ever Super League win at Odsal last year. There's Gareth Thomas, obviously with the ice on the injury. And that's seeing Godwin in with the challenge there.
And it's much better defence as well. They really have up the ante, and they're putting in a little bit of hard work as well, putting them down. Crusaders finding it difficult to get over the halfway. They're there now. No, not quite.
Almost. This is the last. They'll be over here courtesy of the boot of Withers, which they are. Halley positions himself well. A little bit of a grim face on Steve McNamara. Wardle.
He's every right to look like that because it was a very poor start. Can they squeeze another score just before the break?
Hall keeps it moving. That's good hands from Warrensey. Here is Sykes. He gets it wide to Nero. Nero further wide to Reardon, who has to come back, retreat almost. Tries to just palm away Jordan James. But Jordan James stuck to the task. Now Carney. This is the key man, you feel, for Bradford.
Good tackle though by Jason Chan. He threw the dummy, wasn't going to take it.
Menzies. Sharif caught that standing still, didn't fancy going down the line, cuts inside. Uraki just buries him in the tackle.
This is where they need a high kick.
Lestrange. Up it goes off the boot of Sykes. Took it well, and that's a good tackle by Nero, straight in the back of Luke Dyer. Forces the goal line dropout.
Great timing as well by Chris Nero. Didn't go early, didn't make contact while I was in the air. Well taken though by Luke Dyer. Well, barely seconds going from this, maybe one drive, and then I anticipate a high kick yet again.
In the last minute here, so Bradford with maybe 3-4 tackles to get over the line for another score. It's with Halley, and it will be driven back in by Glenn Hall.
Move. Hold. Go.
He actually played prop and got 2 tries in a cup tie against Dewsbury, Glenn Hall, early this season. Half a minute remaining. Lestrange. Here is Sykes. Sykes stabs the ball to the corner looking for Reardon. That's going to be too long.
Well, they had to come up with something different because the seconds were ticking away. But he certainly is going to be the key factor, this fullback Dave Halley, if the Bradford Bulls are going to rally around and take this contest.
There was good tactics. They still had a couple of tackles maybe they could have got in before half-time. This will be the last of this first half as Lincoln Withers skips away from one. They can't get away from the other. Good 40 minutes work from Brian Noble's men. Tremendous start. Steve McNamara goes past him with Lee St. Hilaire, who has been preparing the team this week. But it's Steve McNamara who is running the team, and he will be happy with what's happened after the opening 20 minutes, because courtesy of Thomas, Mellors and Huraki, the Crusaders had established an 18 points to 0 lead. Then Nero got the try which wasn't converted. Halley got one that was 18-10, and Shipkovsky's penalty goal with 3 minutes remaining of the half gives us the half-time score of 20 points to 10.
Iron Brew sponsors Super League on Sky Sports.
They're heading to the World Cup, and so is Sky Sports News.
We'll be live every day from South Africa,
with reporters based around the country, bringing you the latest news and exclusive interviews.
They would be a very tough team to have in there, obviously.
up to 8 programmes a day throughout the tournament.